What's up, everyone? Welcome to an all new episode of Damn That's Good with Big Salinas Barbecue. I'm Randy Salinas, of course, joined by my brother Junior Salinas. We took some time off for Christmas, New Year's, and all that kind of fun stuff, but we are back at it in 2023. We got a good, fun episode for you. So, first of all, let's give a shout out to our sponsors, which are Brothers Keepers Barbecue, Prairie Fresh, Holy Smoke Spice Company, Mad Cow Cutlery, and of course Meat Hugger. Be sure to check them all out on all their social media sites. And without further ado, let's get this party started. In the first episode of 2023.
Hey, I'm still doing it. Randy still don't like it, but I'm still gonna do it. Junior here, like I said, we ended off a great thing. We didn't need it so much time off. Things got a little hectic right there at the end of the year, so we took it also. This will kind of be we'll wrap up what we did for New Year's. I know Randy had to work, but we'll get to it. We're gonna go ahead and we'll get to new things going. We'll have guests on this coming up here. Of course, we're gonna do our small business shout outs, which we'll pick up next episode. So again, if you know or need somebody that needs a small business shout out, by all means, let us know and we will drop that info on the air for you. But let's get to it. How was your end of 2023? Mine was at the casino. Where was yours? Sleep, ready to go to work, or what?
Yep, I was sleeping. I ain't got time for it. Ain't nothing really exciting going for New Year's. That, that's a young man, a young person's holiday right there. If you want to drink and all that kind of stuff. Like I told him at work, I ain't got time for it. So many people out there on the roads, trying to drink and drive. I'm not dealing with that. Fireworks, popping here in the neighborhood. So totally had to stay home with the dog anyway. So might as well just go to sleep early, go to work. It's pretty much it. Same thing I did for Christmas. Went to sleep right after y'all left. Got up early for Christmas Day to go to work. Easy day, easy money. Can't complain. But yeah, nothing exciting. That's
I
what
hear
I did.
you. We stayed out, went to Choctaw Casino, stayed out till about, I think we left there literally, Randy, like at one something. And it's an hour and something minute drive. We got home 2:45 ish. I had to be up at the church to do sound check because I was running the soundboard, and I had to get up at 6:30. So that 6:30 alarm came fast.
Mm-hmm.
I was a zombie the next day. Too much coffee, trying to get this and that, and then I had to take a nap. And then I think we met. You were still at work, but we met everybody for some dinner for Victoria's birthday while she was in town. But it was great to see all of them. Definitely, Christmas was great. Spending time with everybody, getting gifts. What did you get from Santa? What did Santa bring you? Because you were a good boy. Santa brought you everything. You got more gifts than I did. I'm correct.
Yeah, but you got the most expensive gifts.
Which gift did I get? You got the same. Apparently, you got the same thing. I thought I was living high. I got a pizza oven. Then I found out, no, you got one too. I was like, oh.
That was because it was a mess up. Yeah, you got everything you want. I mean, everything I got, I've been wanting for a while. Of course, the magnet for the knives for the trailer. Um, the what is it? The screen that y'all got me that I knew before I unwrapped it, I knew I was gonna get it. What else did I get? I got some knives.
Dad's horrible.
Trying to get to the pictures because I did kind of forget. But I mean, mostly from what I remember is I got a whole lot of stuff that I needed for competition season. Like I said, stuff that I've been wanting. Bought me a new grill, Weber kettle. Junior tries to think I did it like him. No. Eden got one.
Yeah.
So I had to get one too.
You had to copy
Eden. I got a new toy.
Okay.
Nah, I mean, we're just basically using our kettle, it's kind of tooling around with it and then using it for competitions, maybe for Friday night, Saturday, breakfast time, cook up some stuff, whatever we may do. You never know when it may come in handy on the competition scenes, especially for teams short. Some of those competitions like we are, someone can just pay some entry fee and we just rock and roll and see what happens. Uh, yeah, that's what I got.
Absolutely.
What all did you
Absolutely.
get?
But you're absolutely right about that Weber kettle. It'll fit nice in there to strap it down, take it. We could throw it on there. It could semi act as like a fire pit too. I had it going the other night, and it was fire was going in the little thing, and it was keeping it pretty warm there. But I got the like I said, I got the pizza oven out there. I got to put it together still. So you said be ready. I looked at the first page of that instruction. It said 20 minutes. I was like,
It takes
wow.
20 minutes.
I was like, okay. So we'll put that together. We'll fire it up. We'll invite y'all over. We'll throw down some pizza, see how it goes. For sure. There, I got the attachment to the Weber kettle, so you can actually have a stand there. You can set your tongs there, set your beer down, check your meat, do whatever you need to do. Right next to it, that thing is awesome. Easy on and off. Got some knives and grilling accessories, some kebab things. We plan to throw down some kebabs maybe Friday, Saturday. If you want to come over, let me know. We could throw it down. Watch some football as playoff season gets going. But just like I said, everything we noticed, we laughed. Everything was for the grill. And that's what you want, man. You want to be outside. It's nice to have a house out of the apartment. I can grill. I can start to grill more, getting some stuff down. We'll get some briskets and stuff going. That's coming up here. That's on my to-do list. Pork butts on my to-do list. The one thing that scares me, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but that's what I plan on trying out this week, this year. What are you trying to cook? Is there anything you haven't cooked? You're like, this is the year I'm cooking it this year.
Uh, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not gonna say, yeah, we're gonna cook it or I'm gonna cook it because I mean, you never know what happens. Some stuff gets expensive. Um, I know you've been
True.
wanting to cook a pig for a while. So you can cook, you can buy it and cook it if you want to cook it. There's a lot of time that's got to go into it, money wise. So it's definitely
Yeah.
taking the money and having enough people to eat it. Um,
I, I think that's what it would be. Maybe we do it on a Saturday. We get out there Friday early, get it going, get some people. Derek, Ed, whoever else wants to come on out, do it. But obviously, we would be doing it with Dorothy, getting her fired up, ready to go. But yeah, that's what we. I think you're right. But like I said, for me, it's giving the brisket another try, not being afraid of it. Giving the pork, like I said, a pork butt, giving that a shot. Ribs, getting it down pretty, I think, pretty good here on the ribs, on the Weber kettle. Steaks, we did some steaks the other night. Threw in the little meter probe thing that we got from a good friend of mine, Richard Smith, years ago. Threw that in there, and it just was easy to thing. I think the only mistake I
yeah, it's
did was I
definitely
didn't flip
serious.
Didn't flip it in time. I should have flipped it about halfway just so that he gets an even thing. I did it to hers, not necessarily mine, but it came out perfect, medium rare, medium for her. It was tore up. Your niece loves meat, so we'll do that. But for sure, I think the one thing though is you said it here. The pig is scary because if you mess up, that's a lot of meat you mess up. It's a lot of money. It's at least $100, 100 and something bucks down the drain. So maybe we try out a little simpler or something like that. But the one thing that just seems to be my Achilles heel with this freaking Weber kettle is me and any kind of chicken. I don't know what it is, why it is. I have to put it, I end up putting it back on. Maybe that's the problem is I'm letting Chelsea look at it and she sees a little rain red for a smoke ring and thinks it's blood and wants it back out there. And so that may be something I give a shot, try a whole chicken or something like that, try some chicken wings. I've done some chicken wings on it before, so maybe I'd get some chicken wings again going for the game on Monday or something. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
chicken is easy to cook. You just got to temp it right. Number 165, really
Yep.
170, about in the dark meat, depending on what you're cooking. Um, and definitely, yeah, Chelsea is gonna probably she doesn't like everything under right. She's got to be overcooked for her for whatever reason.
Correct.
She's picky. She can't. She don't like anything on pizza. There's got to be cheese for whatever reason. So called doesn't eat leftovers. All that kind of stuff, right? It's definitely just kind of finding the right temperature to pull it off and letting it rest a little bit because it's going to come up. Um, yeah, I mean, first cook on that one was steaks,
Yep. I'm
and then
about to
cooked
say.
some ribs. Definitely, ribs is totally different on the Weber than it is on any other cooker.
It's a little bit of a
Definitely, I
different.
do have to kind of get used to that. And they did turn out pretty good,
They did. They were
for
real good.
sure. Definitely with that rib rub on there. I did kind of play around with it on one with the spicy one to see if how it would come out like competition style. Um, so did hit it with some hot porker rub, just a little bit, and then a spicy peach in the wrap. Uh, color wise, wasn't very good color wise, but flavor was good. Definitely had a big kick, so definitely I know to kind of just basically sauce it lightly. Um, Competition scene, but yeah, we'll see what happens for that one. But just like I said, playing around with it. Um, and then of course before the New Year's, we did have that cold. Um, so we did kick some. I did kick some briskets, uh, ribs, a whole bunch of stuff for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day for people. Although I did deliver it all Christmas Eve. But yeah, that was definitely not fun to be cooking in when the temperature definitely did drop to what, like 7 degrees, I think, with the wind chill factor of like zero or something.
Yeah,
Like I think it was negative
you were
7
out
degrees.
there, and I,
Um,
I said it too. I was like, I feel sorry for Randy, and he's got to be outside cooking. But it was for a customer and us, and for us because it was cold there as well. So you definitely wanted to do that, but to be out there cooking, ooh,
yeah, definitely was like I told Mason, it was just running in or running outside, uh, putting firewood on there, coming back out, checking it. If I needed a wrap, I was putting it in the pan and hauling it back inside to do everything and bringing it back out. Um, Definitely, it's something not used to in Texas, and that's what I was trying to tell people. We're not used to that type of cold. So cooking in it, not sure how it was going to play out. Definitely briskets did turn out pretty good. Tip, the smoker just ran like a charm, like it was just 60 degrees, I would say. Uh, Want to say maybe the briskets cooked in 8 hours, 9 hours. I think maybe one or two cooked in 10 hours, not longer than that. So definitely turned out pretty good,
oh yeah,
brisket wise.
brisket wise, it was delicious. I mean, yeah, I mean, and that's the one thing about the brisket is you gave yourself plenty of time. You give yourself plenty of time for it, just in case it needs longer or a little bit. You always plan ahead. So definitely, worst case is it cooks a little bit longer. You give it the rest time. Of course, we had the church service we had to go to. I had to run the board for that, so we were a little late on it. But I know one thing about it: your niece loved it, so she was two hand fisting it again. She loved the brisket, and that's usually an indication right there that you know it's
Yep.
perfect because she was just tearing it up. Didn't touch nothing else on her plate but brisket. That's all she wanted. So it was really good. Yeah, it was cold to be out there cooking, but that's what we love to do. So those listening, I mean, definitely you want us to cook for you, and it's cold, it's hot. Hey, let us know. We'll do it. That's something we
Yep.
love to do. Nothing better we love to do. And like I said, especially with briskets, you just kind of check them, do what you got to do, and you can be in and out outside. So I remember we've done some competitions where it's been cold, cold, cold. What was the one competition we did at El Dorado Chevrolet where we had no heater in the RV?
Oh
It
yeah,
was 20,
yeah,
30
that was
degrees.
cold. Yeah.
We had to bring the propane thing inside, and then we couldn't leave it on very long because you're letting gas propane in there. We don't want anything to happen, but we get that fixed. But that's good. Anything else end of year that you did that you would like to share? Maybe something you didn't get, Santa didn't bring you that you would still like to have.
I mean, I would like to have $1 million. If Santa can bring me that, is that what you're asking?
If that's what you want Santa to bring you, then okay. I'm not. I'm not Santa, so I ain't got to worry about it. I'm not. I'm not Santa Claus. Uh, no, but I mean, was there anything else wise? That hey, I want this, so now I'm going to save up and buy it. I didn't get it for Christmas. You were hoping somebody would buy it, but you did. They did.
No, I mean, most of the stuff I put on my list was just kind of stuff that look good. I mean, because I don't know, I'm not very picky on what I want. Just you can give me some barbecue stuff, and I'm happy. Yeah, there's not nothing really that I go out and say I'm gonna save up some money because if I want it, I'll just go buy it. Um, yeah. What about you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I wanted. I think there's still, I need to just go and buy it. But like I said, I haven't cooked a brisket. So I think when I get to a brisket, I'll go buy it. It's the long knife. I don't know what it's called. But I've got a sharp knife that's little cut that's helping me cut it. So you might want to get that one knife that's a little longer, just easier to cut that brisket. I know you got a new uh,
Yeah,
cutter,
electric knife.
electric knife, so that makes life easier. Because that other one, man, it was getting old. It was getting up there. One thing I got that was pretty cool. I had a knife sharpener. Ed got me another one, and I tried it on a Doler knife that I've tried to sharpen with this other one a couple, like 10 times. Man, that thing was cutting through some tomatoes like it was nothing, like it was butter. So I was like, okay, maybe this thing said the world's best knife sharpener, little bitty thing. Maybe he's right. So
Yep.
but it's nice to have a good knife sharpener. You got to have one of those for sure.
Yeah, a good knife sharpener, and then I'm not sure what it's called. We have some. I have some here at the house in the room. Uh, like the honing rods, I guess is what they're called. They're just little rods that you kind of just move. You see the people
Oh
just
yeah,
move.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
Those are really good as well. This one you kind of clamp it to the thing, and it does really well. It's works out pretty well. Here's the question I wanted to ask you because my supervisor asked me, and she said she was going to tune into the podcast. I told her when we were doing it, when it would potentially drop. She says, "I'm already liking your page. What is your combination of spices, your favorite combination of big Salinas spices that you like to use on anything? Like, what's your go-to? Like, I like to, me personally, I'll answer it so you know kind of what I'm talking about. Me, I always put, and I'm gonna have to come. I put the holy garlic down as like my base layer. That's my base layer of like anything I do for whatever reason. Then I follow it up with, I had some of your side chick that was a little, I think it was in your probation, it was in your development stage, your beef rub that was in there, uh and then the noble. But my go-to is holy garlic as my base with the porker rub. If I want a little spice on it, I'll go with that hot porker, and I put those two, the porker and the holy garlic, on steaks, and it is like to die for. Like, it's awesome. I got from Chelsea when I made the steaks the last time better than Roadhouse when I made these steaks just this Monday, and I was like, okay, I'll take it.
like,
Might,
okay, we don't have to go
might
to
just be
Roadhouse
a
no
good
more.
wife, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I would probably say that the holy garlic and porker rub. Definitely, like on brisket, is the holy garlic and noble rub on any kind of beef, but overall, definitely, yeah, the holy garlic and porker rub. And then, of course, chicken. If you're looking for chicken, definitely you can't go wrong with that porker rub by itself. Go holy garlic. I personally now will use the holy garlic, and then this baby right here, the side chick rub that got dropped today, Wednesday on the
Woo!
11th. Uh, that's what I use. That's what I use on chicken. Definitely, you can just marinate it. So sprinkle some on your chicken, like if you're making fajitas. Sprinkle it, put it in a baggie, put it in the refrigerator, let it marinate for a couple hours. Put it on the grill. It's good to go. Uh, cook turkeys for Thanksgiving with this stuff. Uh, it's good, and I like the name side chick because every man deserves a side chick. And now you can actually say, "Hey, I'm gonna go get my side chick right here." Can't get in trouble because it's gonna be some rub.
I love the name. I don't know how you came up with it. I love it. I saw you put side chick. I was like, bam. Because every now and then you think, hey, she make a good side chick. You joke around with the fellas with it. Come on, guys.
Mhm.
I ain't the only one. I ain't the only married guy that does it.
Yeah, now you
She
can
knows
say,
to
"Baby,
do it.
give me that side chick.
Give me that
Let me get my
side chick.
side chick."
It's definitely worth it for sure. I think that is something we'll do. I will get you that. I owe you some money. We had a contest that we ran for the national championship game, and it went exactly how I thought. Not as bad as I thought, but it
It
went
was
exactly how I thought.
exactly how I thought it was gonna go.
It was a blowout
Yeah.
and to a T. And we honestly, for those listening, we racked our brain on how to come up with it. I did it three different ways. And I was like, if I can just come up with the same person that wins it 2 out of the 3, that's what we're gonna go with. And we couldn't do it. Every time it would come up with somebody different. So we just stuck everybody's name that picked Georgia to win the national championship, did a wheel spin. Ed Ross won it, so I will send you the money for that. He said to pick whichever 2 we would like for rubs. I think that's what we should go with him for the rubs, unless we want to give him some sauce. Up to you. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it later, but we'll get that going to you. And then one day I'll take you your New England Pitmasters rub that I still have, that I still have gone over to your house and like, damn, I forgot.
Mhm.
Damn, I forgot. Now that rub, ladies and gentlemen, that New England Pitmasters rub, definitely go hit them up. Um, it's very good. I put it on some eggs just today, and it seasons it, doesn't add too much spice, doesn't add anything. Really just gives it an extra little flavor. So go give it a shot. Hit us up if you don't know where to go to get it, and we will put you in touch with those people, and they will send you some in the mail if
Yep.
need be. But
Yeah,
definitely,
I can't tell y'all how it is because I've never had it. I can tell you from the reviews, it's pretty. That I hear it's good. I just haven't tried it.
I'm gonna bring it to you. Chill out. I gotta come pick me up some holy garlic. I gotta come pay you and give you and pick up stuff from Ed stuff. So I will bring it. Or if you come over to the house before then, hey, say, hey, where's my dang rub?
Well,
There
if you
you
come
go.
over, you can take this thing over here and take it to your boy.
What?
I gotta take it to him. Never mind, because he wants to take a picture or whatever he's got. I don't
Ed takes some good pictures. Ed Ross,
know.
follow him on Facebook. He cooks, and it really went to a good. It was down to a couple people. He came up as a winner on one. Johnny Mags came up with a winner on another, and I think Leonard Love or something came up as a winner as a different one. So it was like, and I told Randy, I said, how do we pick a winner? And he's like, I'm getting different people too. He came up with the idea. We thought it would be the fair because nobody was really close. Nobody was even in the ballpark. Johnny Mags and I had 21 point Georgia winning by, and it was by 58 or whatever it was. They should have never been in the playoff, but that's a different topic for a different day. But like I told Derek,
No,
heart
yeah,
won
they deserve to be in the playoffs. They honestly they messed up when they didn't put Georgia versus TCU the very first game.
We'll get into that on Outside the Pit because I got some topics on that. We're gonna get into that, but yeah, you're right about it. They should have dropped into 4, made it right off the bat. I give you that. Um, let's get into it inside the pit, where we talk about things that all go inside of the pit. This week's question we will ask to Randy: what was the first thing you grilled or smoked? I got it right this time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Grilled or smoked in 2023. Randy, what was the first thing you did?
Well, we already talked about it at the beginning of the episode.
Just say it
Let's see how
again.
much you pay
Let's say
attention,
it.
folks.
I don't pay attention to you. I'm your big brother. I don't pay attention. I'm old. I'm 42 years old. I'm an old fucking man. I'm
But
drinking
again,
Crown Royal. You
on
think
the web,
I'm drinking
I
Crown
picked
Royal
up some.
Reserve? You think, look, I finished the bottle. You
It
think
wasn't
I'm
very
mad
much.
what you
It
saying?
was that much, folks. It was
It
just a
probably was.
shot.
It was about to right here. This line. Let me see me back here.
He lying.
It wasn't much. It was only
But
two of
yeah,
these glasses.
steaks, and then I cooked some ribs. Is what I cooked up. Um, that's it. You cooked up anything?
Steak.
That's it.
I
Steaks.
bought some ribs. We went to HEB. Bought some ribs. I wanted to buy a brisket. They had the briskets. I think I around. The ones I saw were anywhere between $49 to $55. I thought that was a great deal. So it's like I got to get these. Actually, because I know he'll be listening. I actually thought of Johnny Mags when I was in there. I was like, man, he could probably use some of these. But the cost to get it over there to dry put the thing might cost me a little bit more, but it might be worth it. So hit me up, Johnny Mags. Maybe we'll come up with something to get you some because I know they ain't got no HEB up there. That's a Texas thing. But I didn't have freezer room. Looking for a new refrigerator for the garage that has a freezer and the thing. Where I can put cold beer in one, maybe some alcohol free, get it cold, and then I have a freezer so that I can put some briskets and stuff. Because, like I said, that is on my to-do list. Soon on my to-do list to cook another brisket. But that's all I have. I mean, I really haven't done anything, but I asked it to our three favorite groups: the Texas Stream McBarbecue, Uncle Steve's Shake Nation, and of course the New England Pitmasters group. Answers will be coming in throughout the night for a while because this has been a very popular one as well. Let's start with the first one. Texas Extreme Barbecue said one of them said fajita, sausage, bacon wrapped chicken breast. Fajitas has been a very popular one. There, actually, I take that back. I made a steak, but I did a skirt steak. Was the first thing I actually grilled in 2023. I wanted to do fajitas myself. It came out good. It came out chewy. Potentially didn't let it rest enough, is what I'm thinking, or didn't cut it right, or it just was a tough cut of meat because there wasn't a lot left at the HEB when I went. One said he did looks like uh, prime rib. One did ribs has been a very popular answer throughout it. One said ribs New Year's Eve, and now 223 said the next day he did a reverse sear with some T-bone steaks. Pretty good. One said very simple on Uncle Steve's Shake Nation was just hot dogs, rib roast. One did a brisket, but you can't go wrong with that. That's a brisket's good. Tri-tip was another answer that was thrown out there. Grilled pork chops and smoked standing rib roast. And then again, on the New England Pitmasters, one said he did beef jerky. He made jerky out of it. Ribs, pulled pork was another one. Venison tips. Got him a deer, cut him some venison up on the thing. And one said, sadly, because of the weather, he hasn't done it. Scott Gideon gets the winter chicken dinner. He did some ribs. He was the first one to respond. They looked delicious right there. Great pullback from the bone on it. And he was in that group. So wide variety of it. Ribs seem to be the easy go-to answer on it. What do you think? Is ribs probably other than fajitas, you can't go wrong with fajitas. But other than fajitas, steaks, ribs probably that easiest go-to to do in your estimation, your eyes.
Uh, yeah, depending on what everyone listed. Yeah,
I think it would be easier to get the knowledge of your pit. If you can do ribs and you can get the thing on it, I think then that you'll have a good foundation of it. And I think cooking ribs multiple times on the Weber kettle will help with the brisket. Pork butt, like I said, it's just going to be a matter of really set it there in the middle. Forget about it for a little bit. Go check on it every hour, the temperature and stuff like that. So, but I think ribs to me is like one of those I plan on cooking it one day during work, firing it up, get it seasoned in the first thing in the morning, fired up, and then just I can go out there every 30 minutes or so and check on it, and then I'll be okay. Because like Randy says, I really don't do nothing at work. Shh.
That's not gonna listen to
One day I
Texas
will have to
man.
go back to the office. I still work from home, people. One day I will have to go back to the office. And I won't be able to do this. I won't be able to share this thing, this love. But
Hmm.
we'll see. Things will get a little interesting. Softball season. I'm coaching a softball team again. That fires up. Tryouts are next week. Pray for me. Pray for me.
Pray for those kids.
Pray for that. Boy, you better pray. You better hope we have at least a pitcher and catcher. We want no team. Look for Big Salinas Barbecue to do a little sponsoring.
Hey, if y'all lose, that's on the coach. We'll have to fire you.
Coaches lose. Let me say it right now. Y'all can call me out if we don't win a game. Coaches lose, players win. Period. If we lose every game,
They
it's
ain't
on
gonna
me.
win a game.
We may not.
Hmm.
Our best catcher is recovering from an ACL injury. Our best pitcher left and moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
We walk about some new people here. So we'll see. Uh, we'll see what happens. I'll let y'all know. Definitely keep you updated on that. But as far as like inside the pit, we've been talking about it around what we want to cook, what we want to do. On it is the pig something literally like if I was to say, "Hey, I'm gonna go buy the pig," would you cook it?
I mean, I don't really want to stand outside and cook it. I don't know why you're so infatuated with wanting to cook it.
Because we have a pig as our logo.
So
He looks a lot like you, to be honest
you
with
look
you.
like a pig.
Hey, I'm slimming down, baby. I got a little cold this winter. Normally, I don't get cold in the wintertime. I need to start fattening back up.
You look slim until you turn sideways. You're like, oh, look at that beer gut.
Yeah, you ain't lying there.
uh, no, like I said, eventually we'll do it. I'm not really kind of worried about it. It's not on my mind. It's on your mind more than anything else. You gotta have a special occasion to kind of do it, in my opinion.
I think honestly,
You
one
can't
thing I would love.
just do it on a Saturday.
I think one thing I would love for us to cook would be a prime rib. Something we haven't done. We would love to do it. I think I saw something on TikTok on it that somebody said you can go get you a prime rib, which is the same thing as basically prime rib steak, and just cut it up yourself, and it's cheaper. So maybe something I do here. We'll look into it, but
Yep.
I think a prime rib might be something we do this coming up here for sure. So, like I said, if you are watching us, listening to us, go check us out on YouTube so you can see our reactions. You can see our things on it. Subscribe, like, hit that notification because if we do things, we're going to go live with it. This year, I do want to go live with a lot of different things, contests that you may have to be on YouTube for. Randy may run one that you got to be a friend on him on TikTok. So go follow him on TikTok. Go follow Big Salinas Barbecue on YouTube, Facebook, because that's where the contests are going to be. I want to do more of them, not just the national championship game, but I want to do more of them this year. Have some fun with it. Chelsea did not like the fact that I was having to pay for potentially shipping. Luckily, Ed lives 5 minutes away. It might be next January when he gets his two rubs or his sauce and rub or whatever. He left it as my pick, so I may not ever pick to never pay it. No, I will pay it. But we'll take pictures of what I give him here. I've already got an idea on it as well. So, but what else you got for inside the pit? Any questions you got for me? Anything you want to ask? Because you got a Weber kettle now. You joined the group. You joined the family.
No, I mean I picked a lot of it up from TikToks. I mean,
The barbecue president.
yeah. No, I mean, there's
Literally,
no
folks.
question. I mean, you just gotta cook on it to learn it. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's just another grill. You just have to light it and play around with it till you get to where you want. Um, Certainly, it's not depending on uh, how you set up the fire. It may not be evenly heat all the way through. Um, I know with the B and B lump, Just kind of just laying everything there on one side, lighting it from one end over. I try to run at about 250 for those revs, but I ran probably about 300 um, all the way through, which wasn't bad. Still cooked in probably about 4 hours. Um, it turned out pretty good.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
like I said, just gotta play around with it and see. Um, Definitely no pit, no matter what you have, is something to be scared of. You just gotta light it and go with it and see how it handles.
Only
Um,
way to do it. Only way to learn is to do it. And that's why, like I said, I want to, the only way I'm going to get over this Achilles heels that known as chicken is to do it. And I don't know what it is. It's only like chicken breast that for whatever reason are my Achilles heel because I think in my mind, I'm so afraid it's going to dry out. I don't want my father in law's chicken. He doesn't listen. I'm okay. I don't want my father in law's dry ass chicken.
hmm.
I want juicy chicken. You have spoiled me to where I get juicy chicken, and that's what I want. And I left it out a little bit later. It was okay. This last time when we did the fajitas, we did the chicken breast, cut it up, and did that way. But I think that's my biggest thing. When it's thinner, it's easy. When you get those thick pieces, it's a little challenging for me. Maybe I need to probe it a little bit more or do something from there. But like I said, I'm learning as I go with this grill, what you can, what you can't do. Steaks, I'm getting down, working on that reverse sear to get those grill marks. Uh, Randy seems to have that down pat. I'm ready for him to
Yeah,
do a
you just
steak
have to get it.
competition.
You have to kind of get it screaming hot. Uh, that's where when you go to the reverse here, depending on how hot you have the fire. So if you have it at 300, you basically have to open up the bottom and leave the lid open for a little bit and let that fire just go get hot, real hot. Because you want the grates to be kind of about 500 degrees um, to sear to get those good black marks. Um, and then once you get them set, it's really just kind of a minute and a half on both sides. So it's kind of depending on the way to kind of look at it. If you go at a 45-degree angle one way, and then you turn it and go the 45-degree the other way. Or I can go up and north south, and then go east west, and then flip it and do the same thing. Um, so I mean, it's not hard. You just have to get those grates screaming hot so you can play around with it and get it. Definitely does take practice, and if you don't get those grates, about 500 degrees, it's not going to come out right. If you get it too hot, then you run the risk of burning everything. So definitely just have to get it to that right temperature. But
Absolutely.
again, not too hard.
Not too hard. Yeah, it's really not. And one thing I've learned with it as you're talking inside the pit that I knew with you already, but you learn it when you're doing it on your own and you don't have somebody else to kind of fall back on is that wind. It's trying to move. I've moved the grill in a different position to where it can block the wind a little bit. So I'm not getting too much of that wind flow when it is super windy. I'm getting just the right amount. I think this last time I cooked these steaks, I had the bottom of this Weber kettle wide open, a little bit, just barely a little cracked. I think it smoked right around 300 for 325, I'd say 315, 325 to be honest. Like I said, I had the probes in and it just steady climbed up. I got to sit back, drink some cold beer, flipped one, forgot to flip the other one. My bad. So that's why there was a bottom thin red, pink was on one side on the bottom, but it was the weirdest looking dash. I didn't take a picture of it for that reason because I can have deniability, but it's a learning experience. Like I said, I want to use them. I want to learn all the tools that I have. Definitely use them. What your tools you have. Definitely share any tips, tricks that you have. We'll share them with you. If you have questions, ask us. We'll answer it because we're learning as we go. For sure, like I was answering, I meant to tell you about this. Since we're talking inside the pit, I can tell you about it. Larry, Chelsea's grandpa,
Oh,
his
Larry.
dad, old Larry, great Great individual. You never see. He would give you the shirt off his back if it would to make you happy and make you fit in. Uh, so he's a great individual. He cooked some brisket on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, he cooked it, and he was worried about letting it rest, and they thought they were letting it rest too long. And I said, Larry, you'd be proud of me. I said, put it in a towel. You should have just put it in a towel. You could have set it in a cooler. You have a cooler out there, an old styrofoam cooler or another one. Set it in this towel, an old towel that you're already in the garage towel anyway. You've got it wrapped. He had it wrapped in foil. I was talking to him about using butcher paper. He had it wrapped in foil, no problem, no big deal. I said, and let it sit out there till you're ready to cut it. It'll be warm, I promise you. And he goes, yeah. And then so he cut into it early for whatever reason, then tried to make it rest, then tried to stick it in the oven, come out a little dry. Still was pretty good, but it came out a little dry. Um, and I was telling him about this, and he goes, yeah, I should have done that. I said, just let it rest. I said, that's one thing I told him. I seen Randy do it. He'll let it rest 8 hours, 5 hours. In the competition, that's the first thing he starts early in the morning. So that thing's resting. I said, there's been a competition. I remember getting up. What about the brisket? It's already resting. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. The dude had it resting for 3 o'clock turn in because it just happened to cook. He couldn't. And so he goes, all right. And that's what I told him. And I'll tell him again when I see him again because he's really wanted to get the brisket down on a green egg. He said he cooked it, finally got it to where he could cook it a normal time instead of 4 hours. He was knocking them out 4 hours. The temperature would be so high in those big green eggs because he drank it up to 500 degrees
Yeah,
and
you
then
have to
bring it
just get
down.
it. Yeah,
And it wasn't
yeah.
working that way. That ceramic don't work that way. So,
Once that
and I had
ceramic
talking to
gets hot, it's hot.
yeah, and I
Even
talked
for
to
them.
Johnny Maggs about it. I talked to Johnny Maggs. He told me one day he's heard of people doing a brisket in 2 hours in the
Hmm.
green big head. They just throw it hot and super duper fast, hitting that NOS button on it. But it came out good. He was happy, and I told him he was asking for things. He was breaking my brain about it, and I was telling him what I would do. I said the biggest part about the brisket is to make it rest. Um, you wanted at least, I think when I cooked the brisket, it rested 20 minutes. I was ready to cook. I was ready to try it out. I needed to cook it earlier so I could at least rest it. I think, and this is just my opinion, Randy, correct me if I'm wrong, at the minimum needs to be an hour.
Yeah, you want at least a minimum of an hour. Um, if you're in that big of a hurry. Um, and the reason why I
Longer
say
if you can.
at least an hour is because the competitions when we hit that first place brisket call, it rested. I want to say at least a maximum of an hour. It didn't go longer than an hour because I was pressed for time. It needed to rest a little bit, and you know what? And hey, it worked. Um, but yeah, definitely at least an hour. Normally, what I do, and what I always try to tell people is you can see it on TikTok. People just kind of take off a brisket, foil, butcher paper, doesn't matter. They wrap it in a towel, throw it in the cooler. And I will tell you, don't do that. Stop doing that because you run the risk of overcooking it while it's in the cooler. Allow that meat to sit on the counter for at least an hour, then wrap it in a towel, put it in the cooler. What that does is it stops the cooking process. If you take a brisket that's 200 and let's say 203, right? Put it in the hot cooler, that temperature is going to stay at 200 and it's going to climb up. So if you see some people on TikTok where they slicing it and it's kind of falling apart, that's the reason why. So what I do, cooking briskets come out and they'll stay on the counter. Sometimes what I'll do now is if I'm cooking multiple briskets, throw them in the Canberra or you can put them in the cooler and just allow that lid to be open. Just leave it wide open for an hour, come back, close it, and then they're good to go. So definitely leave it, allow it to rest out out in the open for an hour. If you're using foil, open up that foil, just allow that air to kind of vent and come out. Then you can wrap it back, wrap it in towel, throw it in the cooler, good to go. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about it being overcooked, falling apart. The longer a brisket rests, the better it is because it does soak up more moisture back in there.
Right.
And if you're cooking a choice or select brisket, you are going to want as much moisture back into that brisket as you want. Um, yeah.
Let me
Of course, if
ask you
you want to
this.
reheat brisket, another thing, if you want to reheat brisket, like in Larry's instance where he sliced it and then let it rest, put you some butter. I use the Parquet spray butter, spray it over top, throw it in there, and that's kind of adds a little moisture to it. Kind of helps it out a little bit. Just a tip. Now, Curio, what were you going to ask?
Two things. One, I was on mute, but two things. One, I need my own house so I can smoke a cigar when I do this, so I can be cool like Johnny Mannix. Two, what if you? I know everybody hits that stall 190, whatever, and you're like, the bark looks good, it's tender. I've seen people they stick their probe, it's nice and tender, but they're not at that 200 mark. Could then you take it off, leave it in the butcher paper, stick it in the wrap, stick it in your paper towel, your towel, stick it in the cooler, and then let it finish to get to 200. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know what, you're right, it's
Yeah,
going to
it doesn't.
continue to
Yeah,
cook.
it don't have to be at 200. 200 is just a kind of a best guess. What I've kind of told people is 190 to 205 is where it's going to finish. If you're cooking competition style brisket, about 200 to 215, depending on the brisket. And some people kind of, if you're cooking a Wagyu brisket, sometimes it can play tricks on you and it may be 210 instead of 205. So you gotta go by feel on it. Um, so it's kind of depending when, because sometimes you're gonna hit kind of two stalls depending on when you wrap it. Stall typically hits about 160, uh, depending on how slow you're cooking. And then when you wrap, sometimes it'll kind of stall out on you for a little bit, and then it'll climb up. But what I do is I just kind of I allow that bark to set. So probably about 180, 185 is when I'll wrap it. But you just kind of want, whenever you achieve the bark you want, then you can wrap. Then I would say wrap it. But if you want it darker, that kind of black, darker, then just leave it. You can just leave it out. Um, there's nothing wrong with it being left out longer. I mean, I've cooked some briskets, unwrapped before, and then just wrap them at when I go to put them in the cooler,
Yeah.
and they come out pretty good. Um, but nothing wrong with it. Definitely, like I said,
No, for
just
sure.
kind of um, wrap it when you get wrap it when you achieve the bark that you want. Um,
There you go.
yeah,
Because it's technically done. Isn't it done at 160 or whatever when you first go to wrap it? I might tripping on the time. I might
yeah,
be.
you're tripping. Um, about 160, I think. I want to say that's when you've achieved all the smoke it's gonna get, in my opinion. Um, so at that point, what you're doing is you're just letting the bark develop more. You're letting it um, get darker and finishing that cook process, and then you're letting that fat content inside of it render out. Um, and you can kind of like if you ever when you cook your next brisket, look at that fat seam. Sometimes that fat seam when it starts turning like a goldish color, that's when you know it's about time to wrap. Um, and then when I cook a brisket next, I try to point that out on a video for people. Um, don't tell me what to do. Shoot.
But that's another reason right there to like, subscribe, share, go to the thing because, like I said, we're gonna offer these tips. And again, these tips are just our opinions, our tips. They're not set in stone. Do it this way, or else you've accomplished something. If you want to do it, you want to spritz it, you want to Do it however you want to do it. Do it how you weigh, because at the end of the day, you're paying the money for that food. We are not. If I'm paying the money for it, I want to try to cook it my way, the way I would like to, because I spent them hard-earned money on it. Same with Randy. If Randy's buying the brisket, says, "Hey, I'm cooking a brisket." Like for example, he cooked the ribs. I can't go, "Hey, Randy, I want you to cook the ribs this way." He's like, "I paid for these ribs. I'm gonna cook it my way. You do it your way. When you cook it, and I'll come and eat it." But he always takes over when he comes over to the house, so I don't have to worry about it. So
Just because you don't show up until it's time to eat.
that's
I show up
kind of my
beforehand to help out.
that's kind of my reasoning to do. No, next time I'm cooking brisket, I'm gonna. My problem with the brisket is I decided I was gonna start in the morning and try to have it ready by a certain time. I know now I need to start that night, the night before, so I can keep it low. I can keep it slow. I can go and rest for a little while, especially with this Weber kettle, especially with doing the snake method. It's not going to lose fire. That is not. I've done it and I've left one going and it's burned for 10 hours and I've been cooking done with 6 hours, 7 hour cooked. And it's still going. I have to cut the air off and move the coals that ain't burnt, so I save them. So I know now it's gonna cook. I just got to maintain my temperature, put my probes right, good to go from there. But like I said, I know now to start the before, so that way I can let it rest. Invite people over when they're supposed to come over. We cut it up, we eat, we drink, we have a good time. We cheer on my on Saturday would be my college football team because we know how to win our bowl games, unlike you.
That's because our players decided they were wanting to go to the NFL draft. For the state players, we don't know where they're at. That's what happened. Um, but we're gonna jump right into the last segment. Outside of the pit, we were talking about everything outside the barbecue pit. We did do a little bit of talking before um, the beginning of the episode about the national championship game, um, college football playoffs, all that kind of stuff. Um, Definitely the semifinals were both two amazing close games. Georgia, Ohio State, and then Michigan, TCU, both two amazing games. And then national championship game, TCU just got put down. Georgia just basically just had their way, did whatever they wanted to do. So shout out to Georgia for going back to back and looking like the next football dynasty. Probably going to be in the college football playoffs next year because their schedule is not that tough. But we will see what happens next year. We'll see what happens. College football playoffs everywhere. Definitely, it's going to be some interesting to see what happens with Texas. If they're going to go with Archie Manning or if they're going to stay with Quinn Ewers. We'll see what happens there. Definitely, there'll be a quarterback um, shootout. Just try to get first string. We'll see what happens there. And then, of course, you had Deion Sanders go to Colorado. He's got some good recruits, so we definitely keep an eye out on Colorado and the Pac-12. Um, yeah, and then of course we have some NFL football. Dallas Cowboys decided they wanted to go to Washington and not show up. They just want to go through the motions. Um, and hey, we end up going to have to play Tampa Bay on Monday night. Definitely, everyone is going to say Dallas Cowboys are going to lose. Um, we will see about that. I think definitely Monday night's going to be a close game. Um, I got high hopes for the Dallas Cowboys. I still think they can. Um, they still have a shot at winning it all. I mean, because the quarterbacks here in the NFC is not very talented. I would say outside of Tom Brady, there's not very much experience there. I mean, Brock Purdy, they got the number 2 seed. Great defense, but what can he do? Number 1 seed. Um, Jalen Hurts, is he still hurting? From what I've heard, he is sore. He is hurt. There is more to that situation than there are leading on. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out on. Um, Tom Brady's 45, so definitely can he continue to do it? We all know he's undefeated against the Dallas Cowboys, but every dog has their day. And I think Monday night, Dak Prescott is going to be the first quarterback in Dallas Cowboys to beat Tom Brady. That's my opinion. And then, of course, Junior's other team, Jacksonville. Bring
My
it up.
other team.
Yes, we have it on one of these episodes where you said you were going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar fan.
I want you to pull the tape on that.
We have it. I'm going to go.
When did I say that? I want you to go through all the episodes. Listeners, y'all are more than welcome to help them. When did I say I was going to be a Jacksonville fan? I don't recall
Ooh,
that. When did I say? I know my wife, for whatever reason, wants to
it
be a
was right after
freaking
last
Dolphins
season when they
fan.
lost to the 49ers. That very next episode, you said,
Oh
go
yeah, you're right.
Jacksonville.
You know what? You are right. I did say that. Hey,
See?
I got two
See?
teams in the play. I'm like Chris Bustos. I got a handful of
You got to have
teams,
two teams.
all in the playoffs. I'm gonna cheer for whoever wins because that's what I do. I cheer for
Yep.
them all. I make up excuses to cheer for more teams. No, but I think you're right. Cowboys. Hopefully
I
they got
mean,
all that out of their system for let's
it,
be real. But
it's
here's the
it's
thing though,
set up.
I've got some hope. I did not have much hope. I will be the first to admit it. But today I got hope because all pro selection came out. Who makes the all pro? It's not like the Pro Bowl where they select their guys and then well he's not going to go because he's in the Super Bowl, so then they name somebody else, or he's not going to go because he's not going to name, and then they end up picking 85,000 people, and they're all called Pro Bowlers because once you're called a Pro Bowler, you're always called a Pro Bowler. Um, they did not select Micah Parsons for the All Pro team, and Micah said, "Fuck the All Pro list. I'm here for something else." So you just pissed off the person we wanted you to piss off. I thank you, NFL. I really do. Because you just helped. I
Yeah,
think you may have given us a little edge. You
even
just
his own
gave him
peers didn't vote for him.
purpose. You just gave him purpose to do that. And I think that's what's going to be the difference. They're going to have to get to Tom Brady. They don't run the ball very well, but we don't want them to start running the ball very well. For sure. And yes, I get it. I joked with you about Texas. Texas, none of their running backs played. So I did not think for 1 second y'all were going to win that game.
No,
We
you
were
knew they
in a
weren't going to win.
stupid Cheez It Bowl, which was a Cheez It Bowl playing 6-6 Oklahoma. They need to make these bowl games harder for people to get into. Uh, but I did want to ask you this because our buddy old pal, I'm not going to say his name, on TikTok, you know who I'm talking about, loves to run his mouth that if you beat this team, you're better than this team. Trying to convince the world that LSU would have been in the playoff if they would have beaten Texas A&M and if they would have beaten Alabama.
No,
They
no,
should have.
his,
No,
his,
Georgia.
no,
Sorry,
yeah, his
Georgia.
exact words were they beat A&M. They're in the college football playoffs, no
Correct.
matter what. As a
I still
three-loss
think they would have
team,
had to beat
but
Georgia.
they would have had to beat Georgia in order to get in. And that's what I was trying to tell him is
Yeah, that's right. They would have only been three
there's never
losses.
been any college football team that's ever won a national championship with three losses.
Never. Not even
Never.
his. Here's the funny thing
There's
about
only
it.
been a handful of teams that won it, like maybe two or three that won it with two losses.
You
Uh,
signed off on it, and he kept looking it up, and he was looking it up, and I looked it up. In 2019, whatever they won this in 2013 or whatever he said it was. They only lost 2 games
yeah,
and won the national championship game. Even when there wasn't a playoff, they were in the national championship. And you look it up, and you
yeah.
go
When they won
to
under
the
Les
stat
Miles, it
sheet, and
was
it'll
the two
say
losses.
national championship game because the winner
Yeah.
of that game was going to be the national champion. We're not talking when they used to vote for a national championship. We're talking about nobody's ever done it with 3 losses. And if they would have beaten A&M and Georgia, I would have had no problem with even then, they would have only had 2 losses, giving them a shot to get in.
Yeah,
You have beat the
if
number
they would
one
have
team
beat
in the
both of
country.
them, if they would have beat A&M and beat Georgia, you would have saw uh, it very well would have been Michigan at number one because they were undefeated. you would have saw then LSU and probably TCU, and then LSU at number four. That would have been the top four. He had it in his mind that it would have been LSU, Georgia, Alabama, and then Michigan as the college football playoffs. Three teams would have gotten in for SEC, and that won't happen. Um, that'll happen probably when it comes to the 12 team playoff for sure. But that wouldn't happen this year. There's no way. Which is kind of what I was, saying earlier. Is when TCU lost against Kansas State, they should have dropped them to number four, so that way you got the whole Michigan and Ohio State rematch, and then you had Georgia versus TCU right off the bat. Because that way, if TCU belonged, if they competed against Georgia that game, you would have had it, and you could have said, "Hey, yeah, they belong here no matter what." Now with them, with even how it is, when they got beat 65-7, you have teams. Well, see, that's why they didn't belong. They didn't belong there. And they
They
were
did not
undefeated
belong.
heading into the last game. They only lost once. They did deserve to get in. As much as I don't want like it, but they did deserve to get in there. But when you have a running quarterback and your whole offense runs through him, like TCU, and guess what? The Eagles, when you stop that quarterback and you force him to throw it, sometimes those quarterbacks can't beat you. And that's exactly what Georgia did. They forced him to have to throw the ball, couldn't do it early, and you saw the points just add up, add up, add up, add up. And at that point, game's over. What can he do? I
And I
mean,
think
the other
that's
quarterback, Georgia quarterback goes good.
he's old enough to be good, but that's here nor there. But uh, they look good. They did good job. I mean, you got to give it to Georgia. They did a really good job. I don't think TCU deserved to be in, even with their one loss. It's just me. I'm not. TCU had a great season. They did good, but um, the Big 12 was not the Big 12. It
Mm-mm.
was not tough. I give the coach a lot of credit because the coach said, "Hey, we don't get a cupcake team in this week or that week. We had Texas, the week Alabama or Georgia's played somebody soft. They did it, but here's the problem I have with that statement that I was telling my father-in-law, Chelsea's dad. They put the schedule for whatever reason. The Big 12 decides they want all their non-conference games at the beginning. Mix that stuff up. Alabama does, so we can have an easy game down the road. Texas should schedule ULM or New Mexico State or, you know, Princeton High School down the road. Don't schedule them right off the bat. You schedule one right off the bat, get your confidence up. Then let's start beating some teams we're supposed to beat in our conference, and then we'll schedule some non-conference games out the way. The SEC scheduling does it right. I don't know if each school has their own way of doing it or it's that. But here's the funny thing about the schedules is they're done 3-4 years in advance.
Yep.
So that's why
Sometimes they're done
uh,
longer.
sometimes they're longer. Like I know Texas back in 2010, 2012 said a couple years ago they were going to, back then they said they were going to play Notre Dame home and home, and they did.
Yeah. And then they played Ohio State, and
They
then they
played
set them up
Ohio
for
State, and it's all those
Alabama,
big games are all
LSU.
scheduled.
Uh,
Those big games are all scheduled years and years and years in advance. They're
yeah,
not just like high school where they meet in the off season every 2 years and make their schedule.
yeah. We'll see. They did it as money for money wise, and then they did it also for to kind of help them as well. Because if you lose, say to Alabama, or if you lose to LSU, um, whoever that's considered really, really good, um, top 10, top 15 program, that looks a lot better than losing to Appalachian State. Um, you know, So that's the reason why they do it. Like again, for money. Biggest thing is for money, the majority of it. But then you're also doing it at the same time for your program because hey, what if you win that game and if that team's ranked 2 or 3 and you're ranked 20, that's going to vote you to the top. That's going to help you at the end of the year because your resume now looks better. A loss to a number 5 team looks better than losing to a non competitive team. Again, like Appalachian State, some SMU, whoever it is, losing to those schools look worse, at that point. A lot of other teams, I just want to pay. We're just going to beat whoever we can beat, warm up for the conference games, and we're just going to run through the conference, and then whatever happens, happens, which is great, which is why a lot of people said Ohio State didn't deserve to get in because they didn't play nobody. You lose to Michigan, that's the only team you played that's worth anything. Um, you know, that kind of hurts you if you don't play nobody, but if you play somebody good and you lose, close game, big, whatever, that looks better than losing, a close game to, Princeton High School, for example. What we say, you know, that's the reason why Texas does that. And a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these other schools as well. Oklahoma did it for a little bit. Florida State does it with LSU this year. Um, take a look at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they don't have a conference. They have to run through these teams that they're beating, um, in order to even get consideration into the college football playoffs. So, but we'll see what happens next year. Like I said, definitely it's going to be interesting to see what Texas does with their new recruits, especially at the quarterback position. And we'll see what happens. Um, Definitely, I could see it Manning being the number 1 quarterback, but I can also see him just being redshirted and going from there. So, and who knows? Maybe one day we'll get that Texas and Florida State matchup. It won't be in the national. It won't be for the college football playoffs because Florida State ain't getting there anytime soon.
We're gonna be there next year.
Okay, you want to go ahead and say it? Go ahead and say it. Checkmate.
Checkmate. Florida
I will.
State will be there. We'll be in the playoff. I'm not saying we're gonna be in the national championship game, but we got a quarterback coming. Our quarterback's coming back. A bunch of the offensive lines coming back. A bunch of players are coming back to play. We have young receiving core. We're recruiting real well. I'm not saying like he does. We're getting in the portal. We're getting in the portal. For him, everything's around the transfer portal when it works in his favor. But if Texas gets somebody or this and that, he's quick to point out, well, look, they're going to shut down the portal. They're going to shut down this. You're not going to be able to get this. Your team not going to be able to get it neither, dude.
Yep.
That's what he always fails to realize. And my biggest thing is like you called me out. You said, hey, you were a Jacksonville fan. You said you were. And there you go. There you have it. You called
Hey,
me
they
out,
beat
bit
they,
to it.
you were in a win-win situation that game when they beat the
They beat the
Cowboys.
Cowboys, did they? Go Jaguars! Oh no, but
But
they
yeah, we'll see.
it is, and that's it. That's my biggest thing with him is he doesn't admit when he's wrong. He predicted TCU by 21, and then people started calling him out on it, and he backtracked. When did I say that? I never said that. He took down, of course, after he said that, he took down the video where he said it.
Yep.
He's quick to do that. If you ever notice some of these people, they're quick to take down their videos when they're wrong. We're not gonna if we're wrong, we're wrong. Period. You correct us, and there you go. But that's all I got. Go
Yep.
Cowboys Monday night. We'll
Before
see
we
what
end it,
happens.
got 2 questions for you. Question 1: Who wins that Monday night game, and by how much?
Dallas wins. Dallas wins 24-20.
24-20.
24-20.
I would say Dallas wins 24-21. They win by a Maher 62-yard field goal.
You're calling the field goal.
Field
Wow.
goal. And I watched that happen. Oh my God, I should go ahead and place bets on that. If you're near Vegas, go ahead and place that bet. We'll take part of that. You know,
24-21 on a
24-21 on a
Maher
62 yard
62-yard
Maher
field.
field.
What if he hits a 61 yarder? Then you lose.
Hey, he still counts.
No, you said 62. You're very
And
specific.
I'll tell hey, give him push him back a yard. Give him that extra yard.
I got it. Believe it or not, I think they're tied 17-17. Dak goes down, gets them to 24. Uh, they get up by 7. Tampa Bay drives. They only kick them to a field goal. Dallas gets the ball back late, never gives it back, wins the ball game.
Oh yeah,
24
you know that ain't
to
gonna
20.
happen. You know damn well that ain't
Dak gonna throw, but Dak gonna
that
throw at
ain't
least one interception.
more than likely you're gonna throw a pick in the game.
That's 7 points. I'm okay. He's throwing a pick six in that
Yeah,
game. I'm
and
calling it right
then
now.
question number 2: out of the NFC or AFC games, what would be your surprise team to win? If you would have to pick a team, I say I'm going out on a limb. This is a team I would say that's going to shock them. What team is it?
Like to win it all or just win this
Just
week?
to win that game in advance.
I would go with Seattle beating San Francisco. Would completely shock me because San Francisco is hot and rolling. They're doing their thing. I've got the Giants will beat Minnesota, so we get a pass on that from playing that. So we would if that my
So you're
scenario, what you're
saying
just saying in my
you're
head,
saying
Seattle
Dallas versus New
beats
York in Arlington.
in Arlington. Winner goes to
I can see that.
play potentially the Eagles in it. But I think Seattle, but you're just telling me, do I think it will happen? Probably not. But I see the Giants upsetting Minnesota. Minnesota's suspect. Let's be real.
Yep.
They avenged that loss. It was a close loss that they had. They avenged that loss. Uh, but Seattle, they're running a little hot. If they can go in, beat the 49ers, who are red hot with their third string quarterback, they believe in him. It's Brock Purdy, it's this and that. If they pull that upset, which could happen, it's a different story when it's the playoffs on the line.
Yep.
How many
Let
times?
me
And you're not going to find a bigger Romo fan than me, than his wife. It's his wife, and then it's me.
let me
Period.
tell you how this is
He
going to set
struggled
up.
in the playoffs.
Okay, let me
Go
tell
for
you how this is going to set up before we go. Yeah, we talked about it several episodes ago. This may ring a bell to you here in a second. I remember saying that. Okay, Cowboys go to Tampa Bay and win. Seattle wins. New York wins. Therefore, then Cowboys are going to go to California, revenge that loss from last year, beating Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Then they're going to go to Lincoln Financial Field. And guess what? They're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in a blowout. And we're going to go to Super Bowl. Pencil it in. That's what's going to happen. You know why I'm so confident in that? Because Tom Brady, 45 years old, they're not playing very good. And there is a team defensive wise and offensive wise that can scare the 49ers. It's the Dallas Cowboys. And when much as I hate to say it, but when Dak's on his game, he's tough to beat. Truly is. He's tough to beat. And remember, I don't know, you probably didn't listen to it, but they list some stuff on there. Uh they have Dak Prescott as the number 11th rated quarterback going in the playoffs. So the amount of disrespect right now for Dak Prescott may be fueling his fire. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm predicting. Thumbs up, thumbs down. See?
I'll go with it. I would. Hey, if they go into San Francisco and avenge that loss last year and knock them out of the playoff, that's great. Make it to the AFC Championship game. Now people automatically right there have to
You got NFC.
they have to stop talking because how many times do we get it? they're running their mouth about this and that, and then they beat the Eagles, shut them fans up. All those videos on TikTok are done, and we go to the Super
Yep.
Bowl. Shit, you'll be at work. I ain't got to worry about it.
Stephen and Stephen A would be crapping a brick. But like I've also told you this past Saturday, if the Cowboys lose, it's going to be all they. Dak's not the answer. Mike McCarthy should be gone. Blah 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 blah. Right. Same thing will happen if the Dallas Cowboys win and manage to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to say, "Oh, well, they beat a 45-year-old Tom Brady, not very good no more. Team is horrible." They beat a third string backup quarterback, Brock Purdy, and then they beat a banged up Jalen Hurts. Quarterbacks weren't very good in the NFC, and it's just going to putting down the Dallas Cowboys, saying they didn't deserve to get there. So it's a lose situation for the Cowboys, which is why I think, to your point, Micah Parsons definitely is going to be have to be the MVP for this playoffs for the Cowboys.
I
Micah
think so, and I
Parsons
think
and DeMarcus Lawrence.
he's fired up enough just to do it too, because like I said, they done pissed him off. That's good. Here's my question I want to ask you. I'm just coming across it. I meant to ask you earlier in this bit, and we'll get to things to wrapping it up. Kellen Moore interviewing for the Carolina Panthers job.
He can have
Now
it.
they're saying, listen, hang on. I'm hearing a report just now. Potentially could interview for a different job. Do you let him go to Carolina if Carolina's offered the job? Do you say you go ahead and leave halfway through the playoffs? Bye, Felicia. Because I truly think, and people are going back on this, and people are saying, "Well, trade, get rid of him to Carolina, get rid of him to this, get rid of Dak, get rid of that." Here's my problem that I have with Dak. Dak's never progressed. Dak, I truly believe, is at his cap with Kellen Moore. He needs somebody to come in that's an actual coach to him and not a teammate that he had when he came into the league. Dak's like, I took your job. You ain't telling me what to do. There. Like if he had somebody come in, just that was a quarterback's coach, that an actual coach, I think he could progress a little bit.
The best he's ever looked, I believe they said it was John Kitna was the quarterback coach. Team-wise, statistically, the best year they had was when Scott Linehan was the coach when they ran Romo's style offense. And so definitely I could see them letting Kellen Moore go. Definitely if he I hope that he does get that offer and takes it. And it's not like a Dan Quinn situation when they say, hey, we're just going to give you more money. I think Jerry and Steven are looking at this offense and have to be wondering what is wrong with this offense. How come they're not getting better every week? And they may be looking at Kellen Moore. So I think Jerry saying Mike McCarthy is not in the hot seat, I think that's correct. And I think he's looking at the offensive side of the ball and asking what is wrong with his offense. It's definitely, with your point, Dak gets a new quarterback coach, offensive coordinator in here, those type of mindset definitely could elevate his game. Hopefully we see that because we definitely do want to see him progressing it better. And shut some people up, definitely shut us up as being Dak haters and turn us into Dak lovers. But hey, you want to Super Bowl? We all praise you. Shoot, I'll buy a Dak jersey and wear a Dak jersey. He'll wear it too.
I will not wear it too.
You're going to buy one and wear it if he wins the Super Bowl.
No, never. You will never, ever, 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 ever see me in a Dak jersey, shirt, jersey, anything. I might wear a shirt that Chelsea bought me that has Prescott right here. That's about it.
That's kind of if it's a jersey.
But I haven't worn it in so long, I don't even know where it's at.
But anyway, We'll
Let's
wrap
wrap
this
things
stuff
up. What you
up.
got? Final thoughts.
Shut up. I'm trying to talk to
Final
you.
thoughts, fool.
Shit.
Well, I tell you what, I need a new partner doing this.
I need a new partner. I'm gonna go ahead and
Maybe
trade to New England. Send ship you over there with this weather to help him
shit.
out. I'll gladly go. Max, you need a new co-host? I'll go. I'll make that trade.
Go for it. Go up there. You can be her co-host with Johnny Maggs up there in that cold ass weather right now they got up there. Shit.
Hey, we'll smoke some cigars and drink. Uh, but yeah, we're hey, we're definitely gonna have a good 2023 year. Definitely, if you have anyone interested or any ideas on who we should interview, let us know when we do the interviews. Some of these segments will kind of take a backseat so we can do more interviewing, more talking with the guest. So definitely, if you have a guest in mind, let us know. Follow us on all the social media sites. Give our stuff a try. Let us know what you think. And of course, go and order that new rub, that side chick rub, which did release on Wednesday, 111. So go out there and get that as well, because you never know. You just might get hooked on big taste, big flavor, big Salinas. I'm going to turn it over to him so he can wrap it up and we can go.
That's it right there. Go definitely check that out, BigSalinasBarbecue.com. Also, there is a map of all the locations that we sell at, so that way you can find a location near you. Like I said, if you don't have one, let us know. We'll do all the legwork. We'll try to get in that location and make life easier for you. That's part of our goals. How can we make easier for you? You want us to cook for you? Hey, we'll do it. Hot, cold, rainy, whatever. We got you. Like I said, go try things. Try it twice. Don't just give up on it after the first time. Try it different the second time. If you need any help, hit us up, BigSalinasBarbecue.com or Randy Salinas on Facebook or Junior Salinas on Facebook as well. And we will be more than happy to help you. If we can't, we will find somebody that will. And remember, anytime you're out there, you're cooking, you're grilling, you're smoking a cigar, doing whatever it is you're doing, do it with love, do it with passion. And we will see you down the road.